I love this thing because it has two windows, and this is a Jane Davenport item. The little head vase that she had all her watercolor water brushes in. But I can't use it like that. So how do I do that? I can use this as a signature. And I can use this as a front and back. How about that? Let's do that. I'm going to leave this connected in the center because that's how it's going to get sewn down. Let's cut off where's my knife? Let's cut off the front and back. I do that very carefully. Okay. Are we still attached? We are. Yeah, I know, I almost had my finger in the wrong place. I'm going to do that to this side. Okay. Yep. Now go into the middle of the back now. Keep it against the ruler as best you can so it doesn't move. Beautiful sunny summer day. All right, I'm going to try to trim some of the hair off of this edges, off the top and bottom. Wow, it's exactly 12 inches. Okay. I mean, you just have to get creative with these things. Who knows what they could turn into? You know, sometimes you just have to start cutting and then decide what it's going to be. But this is going to be a fun signature. And it won't go in the center either. It'll be a really squared off signature for sure, but see now, I need this in the diagonal or I won't have enough room to cut. Okay, only the bottom here needs to be trimmed off really. So when you're working with your projects, what do? Do you watch TV at the same time? Do you use crafting as a form of just, you know, meditative silent therapy? Do you listen to iPods or iPad? Well, I'm sorry. Do you listen to blogs or audibles, or do you learn a new language? What do you do to occupy your mind as when you're creating? I would love to know. If you want to put that in the the comments below, I would love to hear what you do. I know when I am working with some of this stuff, I like to put on audibles. No, this is not a sponsored video. I wish I was sponsored by Audible, but no. No such luck. I'm just going to trim this off a little bit with the scissors, I think. It's not quite as imperative. In fact, this edge and this edge are going to have to be a little bit smaller than the outer edges of the box. I know. I shouldn't be just eyeballing this, but it is a junk journal. It should be fun, not exasperating. And numbers and measurements exasperate me. I try to find the easiest way to do things without measuring. Although sometimes you just gotta do it. All right, I think I do need to trim more off of the top because if this is going to be a cover, it won't completely hide the inside if I don't trim off some of this. And of course, I could do better too by rounding the corners of whatever I put on the inside. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna take the knife to it again. I'm gonna make sure I'm not like in the middle or anything. I'd rather take it off the top than off the bottom. Why? Because I like the colors on the bottom. It's not not an Einstein decision here. It's just spur of the moment. This might be fun. I'm gonna do it. My mom had trouble this morning trying to email some pictures to my cousin. And she called me up. She said, "Oh, I emailed them to you. I mean, I sent them to your phone. Could you then send them to cousin?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "When are you going to email them? When are you going to send them over?" "Oh, I already did." I said, "No, you didn't." Or they'd be on my phone already. I said, "Mom, I think the problem is on your end. Why don't we wait till you get home? And then I'll figure out what's wrong and I'll get the pictures to her then." I'll try to figure out what's wrong. I'm not the most brainiac person in the world either when it comes to technology, but I have a little bit more techno knowledge than my mother does. So, when all else fails, ask husband. And tonight's husband's night to come and visit, so to come and bring dinner. I need to trim a little bit off. I see this wibbly wobbly stuff down here and I want to trim that off. Like that technical term, wibbly wobbly stuff. Keeping my fingers out of the way. All the way down. All the way through. It should be easy peasy now. Except when it tries to go through the Scotch tape. It tries to cut the ruler instead. Okay, let's see. This is probably, see, there's a piece of Scotch tape down. Now it's a fresh edge. All right, and that will be part of the signature. All right, so now I have a signature that will go into a top, and if I can make this into a bottom, I'm going to cut the flaps off here. I'll use them as tabs. And then I am going to put a hole, I'm going to use that cambric. That's what I'm going to do, to shore up the back so that it like glues those in place so I won't have holes. So let's clear up the edge of this just slightly. See how we have this extra cardboard from where it ripped, where I dug into it with a scissors before. There's nothing about this, I mean, I'm talking this through as I'm doing it. There's nothing about this that is measurable, set in stone. Nothing about this that has to be duplicated precisely. That's not what junk journals are. Junk journals, again, are creating the outside of a journal and the meat of the pages that'll receive whatever you're going to put in it. Out of junk, recyclables, whatever you can find that you like that's pretty. Okay, it's not about perfection. It's not about, I mean, it can coordinate, with what you're putting on the inside. That's a good thing. But it's the receiver. The junk journal is the receiver of whatever you're going to put on the inside. And it's made out of whatever you can find. It's not, I like to make them to last, but it doesn't have to be. See, I know if I take this waffle sticker off of it, it's going to peel off some of the prettiness. I can glue some lace or something around it. Now I want to make sure that the cover is going to be bigger than the signature that's inside. This does not look square. No, it does not. Look at that fuzziness on the top here, see? And I probably will leave the cover with squared edges and put the inside as rounded edges because that will further clean up. Ah, yeah, I hear it being asked. Yes, I'm going to need to create a spine for this. That's the next step. Is this square? Yeah, pretty much. Amazing. If I line it up on a right angle here, make sure it's even here and even up here. It's got a little waffly edge up at the top, but other than that, it's pretty good. Yay! It's a little high on this end, and I'm going to trim that right off, and that should be the whole problem. Square it up, test it out, just shy of that top line. Bingo! Square it up, test it out, way shy of that line. Perfect. That means it's going to be smaller than this. So now what do we do with the back? Okay, I'm going to trim off the Yahtzee end here. The chopped and hacked end. I see that this side of it has a little bit of a curvature in it. I don't like that. I'm going to take the plastic sticky tab off of this side. No, I'm not that one. I'm going to cut the tabs off though, and they are just plain white, so that don't matter. All right, what I can do. Aha. The back is smaller. See that? It's really cut in. And that is going to be the... No, it doesn't have to be, does it? It could open like that with this as the wonky edge on the back. It really shouldn't be. I mean, I really should make it nice and even. Trim off that much. I'll cover that. The bottom won't, but the rest of it will be all right. See, these are the dilemmas you've got to worry about. You gotta think about when you're creating something. Gotta think about it. All right. I could either do that, or I can cut a back that has this part of the spine already attached. I can do that. That's what I think I'm going to do. Now I need a cardboard that's a thicker cardboard. If you have any questions on these unique journals, let me know. You know, on any journal, piece of journal step, that kind of thing. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. In the comments below, I always answer my comments. I think what I'm going to do is just make this the spine and not worry about these little flappy things. And I'm going to cut a cereal box. I gessoed the back of it. This is just white gesso. I was thinking of making the cereal box, this kind of cereal box, into a journal by just scoring it and, you know, scoring it so that it bends at the back. I still will do that, but I just thought maybe I would gesso it to see what I could do with the cover. You don't need to do that. Gesso can be expensive. You really don't need to do that. If you want to use white tempera paint, that's not bad, but realize if you bend it after you paint it, it will crack the paint because tempera does that. At least in my experience, it does. So I'm going to use this as the back. So what I'm going to do is take the cover after I clean up the edge. It looks like I just need to clean off the edge at the top here. By the way, I thank you for sticking with me through this video, through these demonstrations. I am so glad you're here. I hope that you're getting some value out of the channel. If you are, don't forget to like and subscribe. And click the little bell down below. Let me know if you're hanging around. Let me know if you have any questions. And please join us on Tuesday nights for Tuesday night, Tea and Talk Tuesday nights on YouTube. We have a live chat at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By the time I get around to uploading all these videos, it will be up to 9 o'clock. We're going to move it up to 9 o'clock. It was 10 p.m. Now get off of me, please. Did not give it permission to hang on here. All right, everything's still in focus. Again, the X-Acto blade pull. This type of one only needs about 2 pulls. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to have these trucks stop going by outside my window. I would love to know what you're up to. Pop that in the comments below. Have you ever done junk journals? Are you a newbie, or have you been around and done lots of junk journals and know so much better techniques than I am leading here? Many people do a good job with this. I have a few of my favorites that I love to watch as well. And I tend to think, though, that junk journals are as unique as the creator. All right, so I have my back. Pretty much. I'm just going to put this aside because I'll use it for something else. And I need to have my spine. So this is my spine. Clean off that edge a little bit. Oh, the traffic is horrid. Absolutely horrid. All right. I'm going to go flap to flap. flap to flap. There we go. Crunch. There it is. All right, I'm just going to clean it off a little bit. A lot of times when you make the filler paper, you will find out that you make the paper up to fit the item. You cut the paper, because it's very easy, to fit to the back. Sometimes you will find papers that are the perfect size. They don't all have to be the same size on the inside. That's part of the beauty of the junk journals, is they take a variety of sizes and types of papers inside, and it's more fun that way. So, and I think I'm going to use more of that purple stuff. Oh, can it be better? Look at that. This time I'm going to do it this way and cut out the words. It's going to be like, all right, so I want this, that, and this. This, that, and this. There we go. It's going to be that away. So what I need to do is square off this piece. If I square it off, will it be square? No. No, no, no. It will not. It will not. So let's get our cutter out, since it did such a good job on it. And if this was already even though I'm going to cut it off, if that was already even, all right, here we go. Just to make sure that we're not cutting it off too short here. All right, I'm going to square this off with the edges here. Right? I don't want to yeah. No, what am I doing? What am I doing? That's really close. All right, I'm going to keep moving this toward the inner thing here. Square that off. And even if I can't get this through like the end there, oh, I can. What do you know? Just take the scissors to the end of it there. All right, now I have two squared edges. I'm going to be cutting this one off. So now I can square. I want to square this side first. Let's see, square it up along this edge. Pull it way out as far as I can get it, really. Make sure that's squared off. Ta-da! All right. There we go. Oops. You can always, if you don't trust this plastic bag stuff, what you can do is always use your interfacing and line it with the interfacing first, or in between stages. You can always do that. Not a problem. All right, which edge didn't I square off? This top one? Okay, square, square, square. Ta-da! Now let's see if that made any difference, or if I cut it too small. What did I do? Oh! Oh! Yeah, just barely the right size. Jinkies. Off there. What I want to do, I do want to cut off this edge. I just do, because it doesn't need to be that wide, and it doesn't need to be this chunky. Come on. I'll do it from the other edge so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. I wonder what my grandkids are up to. They're off from school now. I don't see them out playing in the pool yet. They should be. Do I want this on the inside or the outside? It's kind of cool on the outside. What do you think? Back doesn't matter. That'd be a cool color to wrap around like that. I don't know. I kind of like it this way. All right, I'll do it the way I originally planned. I'm going to keep this square on the board. Oh, that's not square now. Seriously. Square top and bottom. Take that little rip off. Fiskars, you make a good product, and I definitely have replacement blades for that. All right, now this is squared off. It's in the center here. Right? I move it up a little bit. There we go. I am going to take the center and oh my gosh, it doesn't completely cover it. I have more. Not wide enough. What about the mole? There we go. Cut another square. Oh yeah, I got plenty of this. Because I can cover the Tuesday morning with this. Alright. Let's make sure I know what I'm doing here. I don't think it matters as much this way. I know a lot of book people don't do the spines on the outside, and on normal backings, like the book backing or whatever, you do it. I'm going to center this. I'm just going to leave it at the bottom so that I know it's all on the same gig line. I can cut the top off. All right, I just want it squared up. All right, take that off. All over the inside. I know it's weird to kind of have an outer edge just of the spine sticking out, but what I'm going to do, you will see when I do the rest of the bookmaking, that I'll take a washi tape or something and cover up this open gap, because books don't have that open gap. It helps them fold, but it's not. All right, that looks even. Now I'm going to take this piece, dry fit it this way, right? Yes, that way. More on here. You can always go back in later and put a bead of glue right in the corners if it's not working. If part of it comes up. Yeah, so now I'm going to get this straight across the bottom line and align it with the top. Okay, and what are we going to do next? You got it, the washi tape. This is a good washi tape for this one. I think I'm going to stop wasting this one and use it for the for the inside of the book. I might even use it to cover the... That's not a bad idea to do now, actually. Let's do that. That will be fun. I can get my nails to cooperate. Are they long enough? Don't think these pieces are long enough for the whole thing. But I have enough tape. So I'll need to do something to the back side of this. Well, that wasn't a good idea. Line it up. Line it up. Line it up. With a little bit of movement gap here. Then, see, I like this color of the washi tape with it. It's not on straight. Of course not. Of course not. And there we go. Cut it a little bit longer and move it around to the inside. Yes. Because it just goes with the color theme. It goes with the dots, don't you think? I think so. So I'm going to roll this up. Ta-da! And the inside is all this stuff. I'm going to trim this back a bit, the washi. Okay, pulling the washi back. Come on. I'm going to trim off the end. Without cutting that piece of washi off. See, it's already attached to the glue on the top. Oh my gosh. I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Think ahead is the lesson learned here. Think ahead a little. Get your washi tape out ahead of time. And now I'm going to roll it over the end and roll it over the end and keep it nice and flat and straight. Alrighty then. See, and that can bend with it very nicely. If it starts coming off, glue the sucker down. Because I think of the gesso on the back, it's not liking that. It doesn't want to glue down to the gesso. So I'm going to encourage it a little bit. Elmer's glue. With Elmer's glue, I'm going to encourage it to stay. It'll stick now. It'll stick forever now. Okay. There we go. Now, remember this piece. I am going to paper clip it to the inside. I'm actually going to paper clip some of this purple stuff in there, at least that piece. That would make an interesting piece. And since the washi tape can be taken off of plastic, I won't waste this washi tape either. I can take it right off of there, and I'm ready to use it on the inside. All right. Everything all buckled down now. Here we go. I'm going to clip it all together to the back and let it dry. And then we'll be ready for signature. Do I want to show you any more examples of just being wacky with stuff here? All right, I'm going to let this dry and we'll work with it later. This is the Lucky Charms box. This is square. I don't know that the one side is, the bottom of it is. What do you do with cereal boxes if they're too giant to use? Or a box that's too giant to use? Well, you can score it. This is where I have to go back to this board. And this is where we need a little math, which I hate. So get out a piece of scrap paper to go with your pen. And let's figure a little bit. So this is how many inches wide? 11 inches tall by 7.5. All right. Zip. How big of a spine do I want to have? If it's 11 inches, it could be 5, 5, and 1. Although with 5 inches this way, you want bigger than a 1-inch spine, I think. Maybe 1.25 inches. If I go 4 3/4, 4 3/4, 4 3/4 gives me 2/4 inches to add to the middle. So 4 3/4, 4 3/4 leaves 1.5 inches in the center. Am I right? So 4 3/4, then 1.5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4 to 11. Yes, I got it right. How in heaven's name did that work out? All right, where's my red ruler? Red ruler, red ruler. How in heaven's name did that work out? Okay, 4 3/4. Mark thrice. Okay, 4 3/4. From this side would make the line. There we go. Let's line this up across the bottom. I mean, we might as well use the mat because we have it, right? We might as well use this mat because we have it. Okay, does that look even? Okay, that's 4 3/4. Let's go in from the other side. Ooh, that still is kind of like icky. It'll have to do. 4 3/4, 4 3/4. 4 3/4. I know I didn't square it up. It may not be perfect. Right, I'm going to square it up on here. That's not too bad because now I have it here and there. That's near perfectly lined up. A little bit different. Let's do that. So now are we getting the 1.5 inches in the middle? We're getting a little more than 1.5 inches, which is fine. Fine and dandy. Yep. All right, perfect. That's fine. That's big enough spine, don't you think? And now what we do is we take it to our scoreboard with the pink one and the recollections, the pink one. So we just want it to bend. We don't want it to break. And I line up the bottom edge and the top edge and just go. Do this 2 or 3 times. Let me do it again. Be sure. Probably was not pressing hard enough. Okay. Will that do? It'll bend. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It bent square. It bent right on the edge, so that's what we need. Right, I'm going to do it to this side. Line it up. Make sure it's flush and aligned. So let's get there. Ta-da! Okay, now we have a book with a spine, a very wide spine, by the way, so you can put a lot of chunky monkeys in it. I like doing that. Okay, you can do a lot of crazy things with the cover too. And I don't like this extra bubbly bits at the top. I'm going to trim that right off so I have a nice flat top to work with, because that used to be the back of the box. So this is a cereal box, obviously, that I have gessoed on top of, if we didn't get the message before. And gesso, you can just use white acrylic, tempera paint, that kind of thing. Acrylic paint has like a waxy, like a plasticky feel to it. Gesso is meant so that you can write over it and draw all over it or that kind of thing. It's got a tooth to it, is what they call it, a tooth, so that the media that you put on it will stick, will stay. Acrylic paint, though, even though it'll make everything white, it has a plasticky finish to it, and it kind of repels stuff going on top of it. If you like the look of whatever it is, you can always use a clear gesso on it if you don't want to cover over what's there. Now this is kind of odd because it was a cardboard, a cardboard cereal box. Oh, I like it that way. You're not going to see it in the end, but I like it that way. You could have also scored it so that it went the opposite way with the Lucky Charms stuff on the inside. You don't even have to do the acrylic or, the gesso on top of it. Leave it the way it is. That would have been pretty funny. Can you see the leprechaun on there? That would have been pretty funny to use as this little guy on the front cover. Or on the inside of your book, had you flipped it the opposite way around. So there you go. Now this one is ready to have paper in it. Any other unique challenges? Do you know what you would do with board books? Yep, you determine how wide of a spine you want. You'd open it up. You would cut a spine for the center, right? You would use some kind of fabric. Glue the spine down to the center. Glue the backings together on opposite sides of the spine, right? And leave it dry. And then you could put another piece of fabric on top of that if you'd like. So there's lots of different ways to do it. If you don't want to lose the look of Now this can definitely lose the look. I mean, I picked one of the worst ones out to use. So I'm going to wait till I know what I want to put in this to see how fat I want to make it before I decide on my spine. So I will have to decide on the papers before I do that. The next pieces are, you can use to make covers. Pendaflexes are kind of interesting because you have these lines already scored in it. Because as the Pendaflex would get bigger, it would sit in wider. It wouldn't just be a single seam.